Okay, so now that we've laid the groundwork for how basic questions in the 10-pointers are asked, we're going to be going over the 20-point questions now. So remember, the 10-point questions are always the easiest questions. Questions 1 through 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The basic question is always going to have pretty much a short answer, and the quotation type questions are going to just use the short verses. In the 20-point questions, they're a little bit harder because they're worth more points. So questions 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, there's 6 of them, are all 20-point questions. And you're going to have, once again, just a basic question, but it's going to ask usually for a longer answer. And then you're going to have quotation questions, but they're going to be a little bit longer verses that you'll have to quote, or locate, or whatever, or finish. And then you also have a new type of question called a two-part question. So it's basically going to ask 2 questions. Like the basic question only asks 1, the 2 parts are going to ask 2. All right, so we're going to do a couple of examples here. Let's start with the basic question first. So question number 7 is worth 20 points. Question: James chapter 1 verse 24 says he doeth what? Read 1.
He beholdeth himself, and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was.
That is correct. So you can see it. You have to quote a little bit more than in the 10-point questions. A little more to it sometimes. Let's do another one, another basic question in the 20s. Question number 8 is worth 20 points. Question: according to James chapter 1 verse 21, lay apart what? Read 1.
Lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness.
That is correct. All right, so that's how the basic questions work. And one thing to note, if you ever answer the question and the quizmaster keeps looking at you, it usually means that he needs more information, or he needs you to clarify or answer the question exactly. So good practice, if he keeps looking at you, is to actually quote the verse. The main thing is you want to answer the question exactly. First of all, you want to answer the question exactly like he asked it. So according to James 1:21, lay apart what? So the correct answer is you're going to lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness. So you don't want to quote the verse from the get-go, from the very beginning. You want to actually just answer the question first, and then if he keeps looking at you, then you would actually quote the entire verse. All right, the quotation questions are pretty much just like the 10s. The only difference is they're going to ask you for a little bit longer verses. They're not going to use the short verses for the most part. So they're pretty easy. We'll do one here just for practice. Question number 9 is a quotation question worth 20 points. Question: quote James chapter 1 verse 15. Read 1.
Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death.
That is correct. So you can see it's a little bit of a longer verse than you might see for a 10-point question. Because it's a 20-point question, it's worth more points. All right, so let's look at the 2-part questions now. So 2-part questions are just like the basic questions, except they're going to have 2 question words. So if you don't know how to interrupt, you don't want to hit the buzzer until you hear the second question word. And of course, you know all your question words are what, when, where, how, why. So you don't want to hit the buzzer until you hear both of the questions being asked. So let's do an example here. Question number 10 is a 2-part question worth 20 points. Question: James chapter 1 verse 16 says, do not what, my beloved what? Read 1.
Do not err, my beloved brethren.
That is correct. So you can see it asks 2 different questions. Do not what, my beloved what? Or they may say my beloved who in some cases, since brethren is a who. All right, let's do another practice one here. Question number 11 is a 2-part question worth 20 points. Question: according to James chapter 1 verse 12, what is the man that endureth what? Read 1.
Blessed is the man that endureth temptation.
That is correct. All right, so these are the basic type questions that you'll see in junior Bible quizzing in the 20 pointers.